Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today we are going to go through my week 2 bucket list-athon update. As you all know, I don't normally post on Thursdays, but throughout Bucket List-athon, I've decided to add a Thursday update for you guys during the readathon so you know what my progress is, what I'm thinking of the books that I'm reading, and which prompts I'm working on in the current week. So I also wanted to use this as a platform to shout out some booktubers. It's one of my favorite things about Bucket List-athon last year, and I wanted to continue the tradition this year. So stay tuned to the end of this video to see 2 maybe new booktubers to you. I do have to tell you that I was less successful this week than I was last week. Last week I completed 3 prompts. This week I've only completed 2, but I think that makes, so it's a total of 5 for the first 2 weeks of the readathon. So I'm not super worried. I have 11 books total that I have to read. Well, I guess 12 books total with the extra buddy read that I'm doing. But I still think it's doable. So like, I'm not counting myself out down and out yet. But we'll see how things progress as the readathon moves forward. The first prompt that I completed this week was the favorite author prompt, which I told you guys that I was making progress on in the last video, and that was A Paladin's Faith, which is the 4th book in the Saints of Steel series. I ended up rating this a 4.5 star. Absolutely love the series. I am excited that I'm almost 100% sure that the series isn't done yet and that there will be more. I really love the romances that are within these books and the fantasy world, the really intricate mysteries that are going on, and the banter. I know you guys have heard me say this about T. Kingfisher, but I can't get over how much I laugh while reading these books. So I am grateful for this readathon in pushing me to continue a series because this is one I definitely needed to continue sooner rather than later. The next prompt that I completed, I'm not super happy about, but I did complete it, and that is the Goodreads Choice Awards nominee, which I decided to go with The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo because I am almost positive that it's going to win the fantasy realm of the Goodreads Choice Awards. It's Leigh Bardugo, and while I think that there are a couple of contenders that could come close, I just don't see it happening, and I wanted to be able to say that I've won, or I've read the winner. Not that I've won, because if this book wins, it's not going to be a win for anybody. I rated this 2 stars. The only Leigh Bardugo books that I have read is the Grishaverse, and I was not expecting this book to have a quote-unquote romance in it, which I don't even know if I could call it that. An infatuation, maybe. And that part was very disappointing to me. The character development isn't great. The storyline is a little dry, and the ending is atrocious. If you haven't heard of The Familiar, you follow our main character, Lucia, who is working in pretty dire straits and she can't really get out of the situation that she's in because she comes from not a great background, essentially, is what I'll say. And she is a witch, but no one knows that she's a witch, and she's tried to kind of stay off the radar, ends up getting noticed by her keeper, the woman who is in charge of her household. I don't even know what to call her. But, and ends up getting kind of shown around because of her magical ability, which puts her in the limelight of some pretty important people, and she gets dragged into some politics that she really didn't want to be in, and it becomes pretty dangerous for her. There is also a character in the book called The Familiar who works for one of the people that Lucia gets dragged in or wrapped up with. And his character is very interesting, and I do wish that we had just followed his story and not had her, or if we did have her be more of a side character instead of the main character. And I really just cared more about his story than I did about hers, and to find out like his history, which we kind of don't. So that was disappointing, but yeah, this was not a win for me. It was a longer book. I am glad that I got it on audio. I read it immersively, but if I had just had to read this physically, I probably would have DNF'd it. But because I had the audio, I did go ahead and push through. And yeah, it's a 2-star for me, guys, and I really hope it doesn't win. As far as the things I have in progress, I know I told you some of these last week, so I won't go into great detail, but I am still reading Ludluda, which is the second book in the Gog Magog series. I don't know if that's actually the series title, but the first book is called Gog Magog. I am 75% in now, so I will definitely finish by the end of the readathon. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish by the end of November, like I said last week, but we'll see. I am also reading When the Moon Hatched. I'm currently 50% in, and not sure it's for me. I don't absolutely hate it, but there are definitely elements of it that I am not enjoying, and if the author can't pull the plot together and make things turn out in a way I feel is rewarding, I'm not going to like the book. The romance is meh. The main character is not likable. I'm not a fan, and I'm not seeing really any character growth on her part. The love interest is kind of intriguing, and so he might be the saving grace of the book. But right now I feel like the author is trying to do too much. And it's a 700-page book. So for me to say that the author's doing too much in 700 pages is kind of intense. Because I like chunky books. I'm okay with details, but I kind of feel like it's a little bit scattershotty right now. But we'll see. The next thing that is in progress is new, probably. I don't think I mentioned it last week that I was planning on starting it because I just started a couple days ago, and it is The Burning Page, which is the third book in the library series, or the Invisible Library series, and I am just loving my time with it. I'm 53% of the way in, and I am having a grand old time being back with Irene and Kai in the world where the Invisible Library is trying to protect these books and gather books from different dimensions, and there are dragons and fairies, and I've loved the series. I just have so much fun reading it, so I'm having a good time, and I will probably finish this before the next couple of days is out because it reads really quickly and I'm having a good time. And then the last thing that I'm working on is Rewitched, which I know I told you guys last week. I was at 20% last week. I'm at 50% this week, and I do have to finish it in the next couple of days because it is due back in my library soon. I am liking it, and I've been updating you guys on the Discord. I think I've only updated you once though, so I should probably get back on and send a 50% update. I think that it's very cute. It does read very slow for me, and that's not necessarily a bad thing if we get some more character development, because currently the characters feel very surface level. It is very cozy. I like the formatting of the story, and I like our main character, but I feel like I've been told a lot of things instead of being shown a lot of things, and that can potentially affect the impact of the book on me. So we'll see what I feel like in the end, but currently I'm enjoying my time. I think it's cute, but I do wish it read a little quicker, mainly just because I've waited so long to pick it back up, and so that was more of a fault on me than on the book. Now for the fun part of my updates, my Booktuber highlights, the first person I am going to highlight is Taya. Her channel name is @NoWayCrochet. I will put all of the information that you need to know down in the description so you guys have easy access to her channel. She is a booktube and crafting channel. So she has on her channel these episodes that are like a knitting podcast that she's doing, but she is also really wanting to get back into reading, and so she's using her channel as kind of a means to motivate her to get back into reading. One of her goals this year was to read a lot of her childhood favorites that she hasn't gotten to and deplete some of her physical TBR, which I know is a very common goal on Booktube, and hopefully a Bucket List-athon can help with that. Taya has 88 subscribers and has been on YouTube for about 2 months. The second booktuber I want to highlight today is Tiffany from Towering TBR. Tiffany has this really cool series on her channel called F&N, which is fiction and nonfiction pairings, where she finds different novels that have similar themes, but one is a nonfiction and one is a fiction, and she reads them together and discusses them in these videos. And I just think it's such an interesting concept, especially for someone like myself who does not read a lot of nonfiction. I do like the fact that she is pairing a fiction book that I could potentially be interested in a nonfiction book, which I'm not saying I'm not interested in nonfiction, I just don't pick them up as often, and so perhaps this might be something I have to give a try to see if I can get more nonfiction on my TBR. Tiffany also recently posted a 5-star streak video where she talks about how she's been having really good luck with some of the reads that she's had recently and talks about some of those books. She has 376 subscribers, I think, and has been on YouTube for about 2 years. Please go and give these booktubers some love. Remember, their channels are in the description down below for easy access. I would love to see you guys comment on some of their videos. Also, speaking of comments, don't forget to comment on this video what your favorite prompt of the week for Bucket List-athon has been, or your favorite book. Have you been disappointed by any of the reads that you've picked up so far? I would love to chat with you guys in the comments. If you're not feeling chatty, leave me a little bucket emoji just so I know that you're here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!